there's an emphasis on building up communities, sharing and trust. We need to trust more to collaborate. We need to find things that have meaning for groups and that do help identify and address their real needs. So this is part of the slow process, I think, of building up these communities and developing it. We then moved on to look fairly briefly at repositories and questions around metadata. I think there's a feeling that there's perhaps been a failure, or if not a failure, a not achieving of all the goals originally set for some of the large-scale national, maybe international repositories. Possibly because they're aping the traditional library models too much. And what we actually want is something which is more flexible, more discipline-specific, which actually belongs to communities and is owned and curated by communities. These will draw much more on Web 2 and social software type approaches than perhaps traditional library approaches. And the community itself will act as a curator. An Earth Sciences repository called DELIS was offered as a good example of this. I don't know it myself, but one of the group I was with do, and so that may be well worth looking at and considering. So really we don't want to encourage too much of a wholesale aggregation together, perhaps fairly uncritically, but we do need to develop methods by which the community can own these resources more. I don't know if I've missed any key points from our group, but please do chip in.